Ladies and gentlemen, bad news on the doorstep. Late afternoon, Wednesday, July 26th. One of the greatest rock and pop voices of all time, Sinead O'Connor, has passed away. Now, best known for a cover of Nothing Compares to You by Prince, her death was confirmed by a family in a statement. Now, O'Connor, the Irish singer, rose to fame in the 90s with, again, Nothing Compares to You, a very, very moving and gifted cover. She also became known for outspoken political activism and mental health struggles. She was 56. It is with great sadness we now announce the passing of our beloved Sinead. Her family and friends are devastated and have requested privacy at this very difficult time. The singer's family said in a statement reported Wednesday by the BBC and RTE. Ireland's Prime Minister Leo Varadkar paid tribute to the singer on social media, calling her talent unmatched. Condolences to her family, her friends, and all who love music, he wrote. I first became aware of Sinead as a backup singer for various bands and productions, and also she had a slight connection with U2. Now recognizable by her shaved head and elfin figure features, O'Connor began his career singing on the streets of Dublin and soon rose to international fame. She was a star from her 1987 debut album, The Lion and the Cobra, and became a sensation in 1990 with her cover of Prince's ballad, Nothing Compares to You, a seething, shattering performance on video that topped charts from Europe to Australia and was heightened by a promo video featuring the grey-eyed O'Connor crying in intense close-up. Nothing Compares to You received 3 Grammy nominations and was a featured track off her acclaimed album, I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got. Rolling Stone named her Artist of the Year in 1991. She proved that a recording artist could compromise and still connect with millions of listeners hungry for music of substance, the magazine declared. Now, she was a lifelong nonconformist. She would say that she shaved her head in response to record executives pressuring her to be conventionally glamorous, but her political and cultural stances and troubled private life often overshadowed her music. She feuded with Frank Sinatra over refusal to allow the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner at one of her shows and accused Prince of physically threatening her. In 1989, she declared support for the IRA, a statement she retracted a year later. Around the same time, she skipped the Grammy ceremony, saying it was too commercialized. Now, a critic of the Catholic Church, well before allegations of sexual abuse were widely reported, O'Connor made headlines in October 1992 when she tore up a photo of Pope John Paul II while appearing live on NBC's Saturday Night Live and denounced the church as the enemy. O'Connor, who alleged that her mother was abusive, had taken a photo from her mother's home after she died. The singer wrote an essay from her 2021 memoir, Rememberings, that was published by Rolling Stone. My intention has always been to destroy my mother's photo of the Pope, she wrote. It represented lies and liars and abuse. The type of people who kept these things were devils like my mother. CBC goes on to say, now the following week, after the Saturday Night Live thing, Joe Pesci hosted SNL and held up a repaired photo of the Pope and said if she had been on a show with O'Connor, he would give her such a smack. Days later, she appeared on an all-star tribute for Bob Dylan at MSG and was immediately booed, despite support by her fellow artists, including Chris Christopherson. Again, she was supposed to sing Dylan's I Believe in You, but switched to the a cappella version of Bob Marley's War, which she had sung on Saturday Night Live. Although consoled by Christopherson, she left and broke down, and her performance was kept off the concert CD. Years later, Christopherson recorded Sister Sinead, for which he wrote, and maybe she's crazy and maybe she ain't, but so was Picasso and so were the Saints. Christopherson also said freedom in music is freedom of life. During an interview with the CBC's Mark Kelly in 2010, O'Connor said she didn't remember a lot about the aftermath of the SNL episode, but recalled a mixed reaction in North America to a criticism of the Catholic Church. We knew in Ireland 10 years before anyone in Canada or America knew, she said, referring to the church in Ireland taking out a liability insurance policy in the late 80s to protect itself against claims of clerical sexual abuse. So I understand that. At the time I made that gesture, it was a abhorrent idea suggesting a priest could be sexually molesting a child. It's not about do I feel vindicated or you and me or anybody else, she said. It's about these poor children who actually went through the violence and horror that we can't even begin to imagine. If we care actually about it, we should make it our business to study what did they go through. Now, in 1999, O'Connor caused an uproar in Ireland, which became a priestess at a breakaway Latin Tridentine church. again, the child abuse by the clergy. In 2010, when Pope Benedict XVI apologized to Ireland for its atone for decades of abuse, O'Connor condemned the apology for not going far enough and called for Catholics to boycott Mass until there was a full investigation of the Vatican's role, which by 2018 was making international headlines. People assumed I didn't believe in God. That's not the case at all. I'm Catholic by birth and culture and would be the first at the church door that the Vatican offered sincere reconciliation, she wrote in the Washington Post in 2010. She also announced in 2018 that she had converted to Islam and we've adopted the name Shadada David, later Shavada Sadquat, although she continued to use Sinead O'Connor professionally. O'Connor was born on December 8, 1966. She had a difficult childhood with a mother she alleged was abusive and encouraged her to shoplift. As a teenager, she spent time in a church-sponsored institution for girls, where she said she washed priests' clothes for no wages. But a nun gave O'Connor her first guitar, and soon she sang and performed in the streets of Dublin, her influences ranging from Dylan to Sushi and the Banshees. Her performance with a local band caught the eye of a small record label, and in 1987, O'Connor released A Line in the Cobra, which sold thousands of copies and featured the hit Mandika, driven by a hard rock guitar riff and O'Connor's piercing vocals. O'Connor, then 20 and pregnant, co-produced the album. I suppose I got to say that music saved me, she said in the interview with The Independent in 2013. I didn't have any other abilities. There was no learning support for girls like me, not in Ireland at that time. It was either jail or music. I got lucky. O'Connor's other musical credits, including the albums Universal Mother and Faith and Courage, a cover of Cole Porter's You Do Something to Me from the AIDS fundraising album Red Hot and Blue, and backing vocals on Peter Gabriel's Bud of Eden. She received 8 Grammy noms throughout her career and 91 for Best Alternate Musical Performance. O'Connor announced she was retiring from music in 2003, but to continue to record new material. Her most recent album was I'm Not Bossy, I'm the Boss, released in 2014, and she sang the theme song for season 7 of Outlander. The singer married 4 times. Her union to drug counselor Barry Herridge in 2011 lasted 16 days. O'Connor had 4 children, Jake with her husband John Reynolds, Wasin with John Waters, her late son Shane with Donnell Lunny, and Yeshua Bonito with Frank Bonito. Now, what really stands out for me with Sinead O'Connor was her uncompromising interviews and stances. She was often on Rolling Stones, Much Music, to give very, very deep interviews. But the backlash to her, she was ahead of her time because there was a lot of people who were still protecting the Catholic Church, especially in her native Ireland. And for her to out the church in such a manner. And Saturday Night Live, by the way, that was never put in for broadcast. It was taped. Fight the Real Enemy when she tears it up. That never went to screen, as we say. But Sinead O'Connor, for the voice she had, like you're looking at industrial punk, you're looking at pop, you're looking at rock. Nothing compares to you. The demo that Prince did was flat and not very strong, but Sinead took it, and it was like orchestral, almost like an operatic thing. Be interesting if she would have been brought in to do or help with an opera. And I always thought she showed up on the stage in something like, Jesus Christ Superstar or something similar. Now, did she seek out fame? Well, of course, we all do. But did she seek out vitriol? Did she want to be attacked? Of course not. It's just that she was her own person. And just because Sinead O'Connor was opinionated, had no reason not to think she was sincere. I think she was sincere, everything she did. I'll remember her for her strength of character and her voice. I'm not going to remember her for the people that basically tutted her and said, you're just a singer. She wasn't just a singer. I would figure in Irish history, Bono and the leads, Enya and a few others, she's a top 5 Irish pop artist for sure, if not one of the best. And I still remember the early 90s when Nothing Compares to You came on. A lot of teary people. And it was a country song disguised as a pop song, disguised as an R&B song, sung by an Irish lass. She was kicking ass in that song. So Sinead, we're going to miss you. It's a part of our past, and we will always remember you. And I like to say this all in all sincerity. Nothing compares to you. Have a good one. Bye.